With me is Richard Gresens, who is the chief designer of the Flex. And thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate this opportunity to talk to you about this design. It is a very evocative design. It's getting a lot of talk.
Thank you. I appreciate being here. Yeah, it's the Flex is a very unique design. It's very different for us at Ford. It's something, what we wanted to do, we really wanted to create a very bold statement, something unique, something that people really looked at it and said, God, that's a Ford? Wow. We wanted to create kind of that reaction, get people into the showroom and give them something different.
What inspired it? What was running through the minds of the design crew as they were putting this all together?
We wanted to create a 7-passenger vehicle that really made people proud to drive and also kind of set them apart from the crowd. And I think that's what was our main driver. And hence we went to this two-box design, which was really different out in the marketplace than from the other competitive models that were out there.
And let's talk about some of the competitors. It seems like most of the competitors in the crossover segment have kind of gone to the SUV idiom. This is certainly not that. So tell us how you decided to go this direction.
When you look at the Flex, it's really sort of what personifies the term crossover in a perfect way. It really takes the best of everything. It's got the low step and height of a car, has the drivability of a car, but it also has the all-wheel drive capability and sort of that two-box, that it has that two-box flavor of an SUV.
Explain to our listeners and viewers what you mean by two-box.
Yeah, two-box is basically, it's two boxes. You have a large box for the passenger cabin, and then you have a smaller box for the motor, sort of a box on a box. And if you look at the Flex, it's really the purest interpretation of that kind of design. Even though it is a box, there's a lot of refinement to the surfaces. There's a lot of what we call lead-in to corners on the car. So what it does is it gives you a sensitivity to the line and takes it away from being just this hard-edged box. It has a little bit of sexiness to it.
Was this a difficult design to sell in within Ford Motor Company, or were Ford executives ready to see something that was breakthrough?
There was a little bit of hesitation because it is a riskier design. It's something different, and I think anytime you do that, there's always a little bit of, I'm not quite sure about it. They definitely said, hey, listen, this is what we need to do, and really gave us the push to proceed with it.
Why don't you walk us through some of the details that you're happiest about?
I think on the car, one of the things that makes me really proud is what we did on the body side of the car. You'll notice that there's very distinctive character grooves on the side of the car. That makes this car really unique, sets it off, adds a feeling of motion to the car, a lot like what they did with the Streamliners back in the 1930s, adding those lines to basically a stationary shape. It gives it a feeling of motion. That combined with the greenhouse, the all-black greenhouse, and then the roof, which provides a very strong graphic motif and horizontal motif, gives it this sense of motion.
And describe to our listeners and viewers what you mean by black greenhouse.
It basically means that all the pillars on the car are black, and then you tie that in with the dark glass on the side of the car. Really gives you a strong, bold graphic statement and allows you to keep this horizontal feeling. One of the things you notice on the car is what we call the encapsulated grille, 3-bar grille. And basically, the headlamps and the grille tie in together, kind of stretches your eye from one side to the other. The Flex itself has a very strong stance, and what I mean by that is the wheels on the car are pushed out to the edge of the sheet metal. You combine that with the front, and then the rear, we did the same thing on the rear. We encapsulated the tail lamps and the applique together. Once again, pushes your eyes to the side, gives a very wide look, very bold look to it.
It seems much lower than most crossovers. Is it indeed lower, or is that a trick of the eye, or a combination of both?
It's a little lower than some other crossovers, and that's what sort of sets it apart from an SUV. It's got a great step in height to the car, and then we also have on it what we call this hidden rocker, in which the door panel kind of wraps underneath, allows you to step into the car as opposed to stepping over the rocker.
Let's talk about the interior a bit.
Okay.
Take us through it. Some of your favorite elements.
You see the Flex on the outside. You see this very bold statement and different look. Well, we don't want you to be disappointed on the inside. And when you get into the inside of the car, you notice that same horizontal motif. We kind of call it the quiet horizon, which means that everything that you need is kind of below the belt line of the car. Keeps it very open on the inside and also gives you sort of this quiet feeling.
And you even have indents here on the dash
Right.
in the center
Right.
stack. I mean,
Carrying the
over
groove.
some of that stuff over.
Right, we carried the groove motif in the car, and I think if you look at the shapes of the IP, they're very simple shapes, and that sort of ties into the shape on the outside.
Yeah, it seems very classic and, again, pure design kind of shapes. Let's
Right.
talk about the seats a little bit.
Okay.
These are seats that I think are more highly styled and different from other Ford seats.
They are very different. Once again, they tie into that horizontal motif that I talked about. They give a very wide look to it, but also very comfortable. And when you sit down in these, as I'm sure you feel right now, they kind of just envelop you, and it's really a nice feeling.
What are the special challenges of a multi-passenger? As a 7-passenger design, what does the third row do to you or do for you, depending on how you look at it in terms of design?
Yeah, I think what you want to do is what we set out to do on this car was really, most cars you have first class seating in the front. And that's pretty much it.
Right.
On the Flex, what we set out to do was really have first class in the first and the second row. And then you've got the third row, which also for a third row, I think does a great job as far as giving space and also visibility. You'll notice that the third row is a little higher than the
Right,
second
I just
row.
rode over here in the third row
Okay,
of the Flex,
okay.
so I felt pretty good about it.
right.
Sometimes in third rows, it's the black hole of Calcutta.
That's true. And I think we wanted to give every row their own personal space. And I think make everybody feel important.
Well, and I think the Flex will make people feel important, so that's probably a good way to sum up. Richard Gresens of Ford Motor Company, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.